Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 190. Each week we meet here to answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+, on our Facebook page, Dumb SEO Questions, and on Twitter. Is it Dumb SEO Q? I think it is, isn't it?
There's an S on the end of it.
Dumb SEO QS, okay. All right, with us tonight we have Chase Rayner. Chase is proud to call himself an SEO. He's from the west coast of the USA. You can find Chase at, what's your website, Chase?
Well, firstclickinc.com now.
First Click Inc. Is that your company or it's an agency?
Yeah, it's the agency I work at.
Okay, right. Is that where you want to be found from?
Yeah, I'm on there, so that's fine.
Okay. David Rozam, he's been a copywriter for 300 years and an SEO for at least 6 of those, 13 of those, 12, whatever. David lives on the southern bottom of England, and he can be found at writingforseo.org. Masataki Wasa, mostly found on Wimbledon Common. He is webmaster of wasaweb.net, and he's also a Google top contributor on the AdSense community. Micah Fisher-Kirshner is a regular speaker on the SEO public speaking circuit. He's also from the west coast of the USA, and he's also senior SEO manager for Zendesk.com in the USA. Rob Mars is an AdWords aficionado. He runs a company in the Netherlands called marketbiz.nl, and that's with 2 Z's, marketbiz.nl. He's also a Google top contributor on the Google Webmasters community, and a former top contributor from 2 or 3 other Dutch help communities. And Tim Capper is in the north of England, well, 27 miles north of London. I mean, who would have known that Corby is 27 miles north of London, but for the fact that Tim Capper lives there. Anyway, Tim is CEO of onlineownership.com, proud to call himself an SEO and conversion rate optimization specialist. Anyway, our first question tonight is, it's titled, "Can these 404s hurt my rankings organically?" It's from Nest Tides, who said, "I have a large classified site that automatically expires content after a set period of days. This is more effective than relying on users to maintain their listings, because we all know they never do. I have a sitemap.xml that is automatically generated. I've noticed that sometimes there is a delay in Google search results not updating immediately. I realize I'm just a small bit in the world Google indexes. The page reference goes to a custom 404 page I've built to direct them to a new search. Is this the optimal way to handle this scenario? And can these 404s hurt my rankings organically? Is there a better way to handle this in regards to SEO? Thanks in advance for your help."
So, I mean, that's one of the ways you can have the 404. you can, you can have Google understand that through a meta tag to say it's set to expire after a certain time point. You definitely want to try to have your XML sitemaps be faster in getting them removed, so that you can make sure Google sees the updated content and information. But if you're looking to make sure that Google understands the content is no longer there, then having the meta tag that tells Google to expire will allow you, it will help to let Google know exactly at what time. If you have an idea and know when they're supposed to expire, then that'll allow it to quickly go out of the index. And then from there, just if you want to try to get faster crawls for your new pages, make sure you get those updated and have the pages that are 404ing removed from your XML sitemap more efficiently. But on its own, 404 shouldn't be harmful to your site. There are general exceptions to the rule, but from at least this example, I don't think this would be harmful.
Yeah, I wonder, do we know the site? I mean, what's he using for his tag? Like, is he just 404ing the pages? One thing he could do, I realise I'm not making much sense here, but one thing he could do, Google has a tag called not available after or unavailable after, and you just have to be careful about how you format the date that you put on it. But they do respect it, and the moment that date hits, it just drops from the index. Now, to my mind, thinking of building up millions of internal links, I'd be tempted to not 404 the pages, just leave them sitting there. But you don't want them in the index, so you would just make them unavailable after. I mean, any comments or any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, that's what I was referencing with the unavailable. The unavailable after as the meta tag. So that would be good to have. Yeah, I mean, I would agree on kind of that part there. I think that's best served. And as you mentioned, yeah, be careful making sure that it's set up correctly, because the last thing you need is to have them be set as unavailable before it truly is unavailable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has to be UTF-8 coding, I think, from memory. I can't be sure. All right, we have people watching us, guys, and we thank you for taking the trouble to listen to us. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile. Let's call that an answer, unless there's anybody else that wanted to add something to this. Okay. And we'll go to the next one. This one is from our good friend Niraj Kumar. It's titled, "How can we show a header image in Google SERP?" Google Search Engine Results pages. Niraj goes on to say, "I was just searching on Google and found that the Search Engine Results page is showing thumbnails in snippets." I had a look at that image. I haven't seen that before. And you too can see these images by going to the SEO Questions community on Google+. And about 7 questions down, you'll find Niraj's there. Anyway, he said, watching more closely, those were header images of eMarketing .netsmarts.net. Is Google picking these abruptly, or is some type of tagging working here? These don't look nice to me because they are cropped. Or should we mark up, or should we mark up a website logo so that Google shows the logo, not any other cropped images? By the way, I see Siraj Gadagay gave an answer for this, which can be seen on the SEO Questions community. And we thank Siraj. He formerly worked for Yahoo, and I'm not sure where he's working now. Well, I just can't remember, but I have been told. But yeah, we thank Niraj and the rest of, Suraj and the rest of our forum heroes for the work that they do through the week. They make our life so much easier for us.
Yeah, I think Google only picks up images in the knowledge graph and in news now, right?
According to Siraj, I haven't seen them myself, but he said, just to clarify, this type of view in search results appears only when someone searches with the related operator to identify related sites. Except in a news search result, Google is no longer displaying images beside the search results. I scared our viewer away.
Okay, can somebody explain to me what a related operator is?
You know, you add that, you put related in the address bar to give you sites which are related to the one that is most pertinent to your question. Is that the right way to say that, guys?
I think that was an eloquence rating of 8.5 at least.
Okay. There is a set of operators to add to searches, Chase. They're all finish. They all finish with a full colon, and it's well worth. Yeah, well worth learning them.
Yeah, I've seen some of them. I like the no filter, where you can see the things that Google filters out.
All right, Niraj Kumar, I hope you're happy with that. We'll move on to the next question. Just tweet that one. Oh, dear me. Yasser Mohammed has a question titled, "Why does Google use geography so literally?" He said, if you do a local business search for carpet cleaning Melbourne, you will see all of the business listed on the first page are located in the CBD of Melbourne. Then, as you move to pages 2 and 3, you will see that the businesses 10 to 15 kilometres are listed. And then pages 4 and 5 are 20 kilometres, etc. Why does Google use geography so literally? It used to be that the term Melbourne meant Greater Melbourne, especially when you are a service area business and you have your service area set as such. Now it seems to be based on postcode and your distance from it. I have created geo content to try to overcome this, but nothing seems to work. Are service area businesses disadvantaged in local search? I'm aware of other cleaners hiring marketers / SEOs, search engine optimizers, in the CBD and using their office address as their cleaning business address, just so that they can rank locally in Melbourne. I'm not prepared to go to these extremes. Good for you, Yasser. What else can I do to improve local ranking? I have lots of reviews, active G+, and other social media, local citations, localized geo content, on-page SEO with geo keywords and videos.
Why?
Yeah, go on, Tim.
Yeah, so obviously your local pack and map, yes, it is specific to the actual area now. Well, it has been for quite a few years. In terms of a serviced area, I know you set your serviced area location, and I would keep that quite narrow. The wider you create it, the more you dilute it. So you always keep it as narrow as possible. The actual address you use to register it also plays a slight part in it, but it shouldn't, but it does, because it takes your serviced area location from around that. You might want to try, actually, instead of setting a circumference, actually physically set areas within that you serve. So that's another way. The other flip side of the thing is your local pack positioning tends to also work around the positioning on your organic ranking for that particular term. So if you can get your organic ranking up to position between 1 and 5, that will certainly help your local pack. Yeah, I mean, let's carpet cleaning Melbourne.
Wouldn't you guys agree that service areas don't rank as well as physical listings?
What do you mean?
Generally, when there's an actual business location and it's not a service area on the map, wouldn't you agree that it ranks better?
Physical location, yeah, it's easier to do a physical location because all your your structured data on your site, your natural address, even if you don't have structured data, your natural address works together. Yeah. The one big bugbear, which you're not going to get away with, yes, and it's a big bugbear for us for years, is these crap business names called carpet cleaning Melbourne, Melbourne carpet cleaning. Unfortunately, for some reason, in the local pack and that, the algo still gives stupid names like that preference, which we've been bitching about for years. Organic search got rid of crap like that, but Maps hasn't yet. The results, there's a few there I'm going to have to go in and make edits on because yeah, there's name violations all over the show there. The thing is also, if you look at the map pack itself, it is all kind of very tightly CBD, and yes, that's the way it works. Unfortunately, now everything is very much centralized and works its way out. But if you get if you start try to position yourself organically, 1 to 5. That will be make a big difference in the actual local pack and the map results for you.
Hey, I just want to add really quick. The other problem with having a service area is that you're not able to be listed in certain local indexing sites, which is really important because you really want your NAP all over the internet, which is name, address, phone number. So not being able to list that and just listing your service area is not nearly as powerful as being able to build local citations with your address and the same information all over, important indexing sites.
On the flip side of that, even if you're a serviced area, because, say, for example, a serviced area business as such, you're complying with, obviously, Google My Business guidelines by hiding your address. That doesn't mean that you need to hide your address in all the listings. That's dependent on whether you want your... But I list my freaking address. I'm not bothered because that is where I work from. If you want to come and visit me, knock on the door, whatever, cool. So, but some people are like, oh, I work from home, but I don't want my address found. If you are happy with your address being visible on all the directories, go for it, because Google still recognizes your actual address in the serviced area business, even though it's not being visible. So it still marries up. And if you're comfortable using your home address in all your directory listings, use it. In fact, a lot of the a lot of the directories actually have a little thing where you can tick now saying, yes, I'm a home business, and they even say this is a home business now. But if you're happy with your address being at home, list it.
Excellent, thank you, Tim. Okay, let's call that an answer for Yasser. I hope Yasser is happy, healthy, and wealthy. Our next is from Greg Christan, titled No Return Tags in the International Targeting section. We find out what he means when he goes on to say, I currently have a few errors in the Google Search Console about no return tags in the international targeting section. Upon review, I noticed that some of the international sites have a canonical tag on them, but others do not. Does not having a canonical tag cause this problem for Googlebot? Even if I have the link rel alternate tag that points to the correct page. The US page does not have a canonical tag on it, but the German site does. Thanks.
Well, canonicalization and hreflang are two separate things, aren't they? So I don't think lack of canonicalization would cause that to happen. I think it would be lack of hreflang. So if it's, let's say, a US site and German site, then there has to be hreflang pointing out to each other. You cannot, for example, use canonical tag on the German site to point to the US site. That would be the wrong thing to do. You should be using hreflang to point to the US site if it's English, and if it's German, then point to the German site. That's how I see it. I may be wrong there.
No, unfortunately, it looks like we've missed a few questions this week. they're not showing up, community answers. But I think Siraj Gadagay and a new forum hero, but I can't think of his name. He jumped in, and they both pointed out that when you're using hreflang, every page has to have the hreflang on it, otherwise Googlebot will get confused. It's not enough to have the hreflang tag on one with the rel alternate pointing to the other. The other one has to be also hreflang. Somebody said in the chat, remove the canonical. Is that it?
No. I'm not so sure what Rob meant in that instance.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I thought he had canonicals and hreflang that were contradictory to each other, but I only listened with half an ear. On the other hand, you can also put your hreflang in your sitemap, so you don't have to put it on the page itself. That could save some work for somebody.
Thank you, God.
Welcome.
Okay, let's tweet that, and we will move on. I should be sharing to Facebook now as well, shouldn't I? Okay, Nick Thorley has a question on multiple H1 tags on a page. He said, not sure how to keep this concise for the show, but my question is, web standards say that you can have multiple H1 tags in a page, i.e. a sidebar may contain 5 news stories or articles, and each article has a title which can be an H1 as it's a self-contained object. A footer can also have an H1 as its title, and so can a header, etc. However, search engine optimizers seem to frown upon this and still want one H1 per page. I think he's referring to tools like Yoast that only want to see one. And then multiple H2s, H3s, etc. Who do we follow, web standards or SEO standards? And the answer will be a little bit of both.
What is web standards?
Yeah. Carry on, Chase.
No, I was saying, what is web standards?
Well, you know, things like W3C. There are various
Shut up,
like. In a moment, I'll cue to you, David.
It's okay. I'm just jumping in and talking over everyone. It's what I do.
That's okay. But Chase, there are lots of standards about. I mean, that's the beauty of the internet, and some of them are honoured in the exception. Some of them aren't truly followed, but you know, it's good to have standards. And an aspiration would be to conform to them. Sorry, David, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that HTML5 allows you to have more than one H1 on a page, and that doesn't mean that you should do so. If you believe that the user experience should be as clear and simple as possible, engaging with the page, having one big heading, which is H1, will make that a lot clearer experience than having 5 or 7 of them. Whether that directly impacts upon how Google reads the page, I don't know, but if you are going to set the page up so you have 7 whacking great large headlines on it, or 1 with 6 slightly smaller ones, it will be a lot nicer thing to look at and to read. The other thing is that do these news stories and bits of stuff in the sidebar and at the bottom of the page actually merit H1. H1 is the most important thing you can say on the visible page. So they're not really, are they? So from a point of view of reading it, if it were a printed page rather than a website with a chunk of HTML behind it, you would expect to have one big headline. If you think about a newspaper page or a magazine page, and they've been around a long time and they've evolved to look like that. And I think that there's no reason why a web page shouldn't follow similar rules. So from an SEO point of view, I would say it's not so much SEO strictly, but it's how this is, how we can help the reader make sense of what's on the page. And the most important thing on the page is the main content, which will be that behind, that below the H1. So I think comparing whatever it was, web standards with SEO standards, comparing apples with oranges, you can have both. But if you really want to eat a curry, neither will satisfy.
Yeah, I just want to add that. So we actually have a client we're dealing with who has a Squarespace website. He has multiple H1s on his site. We can't really do anything about it. And I was emailing the customer support at Squarespace, and they were saying, "Oh, well, no, we found this video about Matt Cutts saying, you know, back in 2014 that having multiple H1s isn't that big of a deal." But you know, things are always changing, so we don't know if that's prevalent to today. But yeah, I mean, H1s are probably one of the most important things on your page, at least from what Google sees. And so backing up what David's saying, I totally agree. But as far as other search engines, Bing has clearly stated that having more than one H1 is against their guidelines. Not that we're trying to SEO for Bing.
Why not? Google's only got 60% of the search market.
Yeah, but who SEOs for Bing?
Me?
No, I wasn't saying like SEO for Bing isn't important. I'm just saying like people generally SEO for Google and then they get their results on Bing. But like if you were to SEO for Bing and hope for results on Google, I just feel like that's backwards.
Fair enough. All right. Have we covered this one? I'm recording that as a yes. I'll tweet that, and we'll move on to the next. This one is from Unique Websites on a color wash overlay over images. They say, I've just read Google's guidelines that state many websites show interstitials or overlays that partially or completely cover the contents of the page that the user is visiting. These interstitials, commonly seen on mobile devices promoting a website's native app, mailing lists, sign-up forms, or advertisements, can make for a bad user experience. Presumably, it's still okay to have color wash overlays over individual images. On hover, the color wash overlays disappear, but the tie images, the color wash ties the images together into a single color scheme and can make the overall site look better. I agree. And he gives a link which I won't try to read it out, but you can find it on the Google SEO Questions community on Google+. He then said also, note, I don't think Google should be targeting this. It leads to the website looking better and therefore a better user experience. I just wondered if a color wash overlay over images could get caught up in their algorithm. Anybody, save me here.
What was the question? What about the color wash overlay?
Yes, that's it. Number 6 on your run list. I have no experience of it.
I think for safety's sake, if it can be any way misconstrued as an interstitial, then stay away from it. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. I mean, I haven't read or heard anything specifically about color wash overlay. However, if it could be misconstrued as an interstitial, then I would look at doing it differently.
Okay. So summing up from us, unique websites. I agree with Tim that if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. It shouldn't go wrong, but Googlebot doesn't care. But I've got no experience of this issue, and I see a lot of shaking heads there. All right, that's the best that we can do. Let's tweet that and move on to the next. Oh, we've done it. We've answered all of the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google Plus for yet another week. Now we move on to our weekly SEO news roundup. I think we have a couple of items. David Rozam, you can talk about this one. You said it was not news, but a great piece on how images affect us and how we can use them to support our copy.
Yeah, and the zombie bunny was nice as well. It's obviously going around eating people. Anyway, this is quite a long piece, and the first part of it is not as good as the second. The first part is about the I guess our emotional reaction to images, like this picture of the fluffy bunny, if anyone can see it here. And in fact, it's eating a cherry apparently, but it looks as if it's killed something. So you know, that's all fine and dandy. But the second half goes into some recommendations about how to use visual content on a web page, and I thought that was well worth a read. There's some good stuff there, and if you're putting up a blog post and you're wondering how to use visual content to prop it up, to make it better, to increase engagement, then there are some pointers here, and it's certainly not news, but I thought it was worth a read.
Thank you, David Rozam. Anybody else? Okay. Our next news item, also posted by David Rozam, it's titled "Normal for AMP Traffic to Fluctuate." Most of the pages shown in the top stories section have all been published within the past day or two. So Google is keeping fresh pages in the search results, and unless you are publishing daily and publishing the types of stories that people would be searching for, it can be a real hit and miss for many publishers whether they get AMP traffic or not.
Yeah, I picked this out because there's a lot of discussion and a lot of people saying yes, AMP is great, or forget AMP unless you're a major publisher. The issue of how much traffic you get from AMP pages, I think it's covered in this this article, which references back to something that someone at Google said. Can't remember offhand who. But the thing is that this does reinforce the idea that AMP is about news. The pages that come up in the search results don't stay there very long. So if you manage to get up there, whilst that page is fresh, you might stay up there for a couple of days and then it will plummet. So AMP doesn't seem to be the way to keep evergreen content in front of people.
I have a question, David. For the AMP pages, do you know if those last about the same as the news pages in terms of how long they stay up there on search results?
Sorry, I didn't hear you properly.
The AMP pages, when they show up on the search results, do you know if they stay up there for a similar amount of time as the news articles?
Oh, I don't know was the answer. I saw this more as a point of, you know, if you're looking at a website and wondering whether you should implement AMP or not, you ask yourself, what are the benefits?
Okay.
And in some ways, this is not a benefit. It's very, very short term, and it does suggest that if you're going to get significant amount of traffic from AMP, you're going to have to be really generating a lot of content every day to get it up there. But I don't know how it compares to news pages.
Okay.
Tim's not a fan.
I know he's not, but he's staying remarkably quiet at the moment. Did someone feed him a sedative?
All right, I will tweet that one. And when I click this button, I think we'll see, yep, it's thank you for watching. If there are no other items of general business, I'll declare this meeting closed. All right, thank you for watching us. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this all again, but for now, it's good night.